it's not me unless we have a disaster with the camera, right? So we already had a disaster with the camera. It flipped right off. I have a new thingy, iPod, but it's not working. So, I mean, I haven't undone it yet. I'm waiting to see if this is working. Now I hear it working. How is everybody? Whee! All right, you guys. I'm in my workout clothes. Hi, you guys. I literally dropped the camera off the stand because I haven't put up the new one. So funny. Colorado in the house. Yeah, I popped in. I just got back from a class. So I just got back. I'm rearranging everything. So, and I'm trying to exercise more because I have like 30 classes stored up and they'll go in the garbage by December. So I have to do that. Manitoba, Canada, my people, Salt Lake City. Yeah, so I know. You know what? I came home and washed my makeup off. I'm really sad I didn't wear this tone of makeup. Instead, I wore like fucking pink blush and pink lipstick instead of a nude tone. But I did a podcast this morning. So don't be embarrassed to be from anywhere. That's the government's problem. You be you. You be proud. Brampton, Ontario, I know it. I have real supporters. Duh. I love it when people go, wow, you have real supporters. No, I'm a figment of your imagination and just some bitch on the internet. I still have supporters though. Yes, I do. This is Flesh Pot. Do you like the intro? It's cute, huh? Do you like little Meadow in the end? Little Meadow with her hat. She looks like a little Woodstock baby. And grown up Lila with Jace and me. So cute. Victoria, BC. Have you guys seen this water? The Owala? The girls in class did it. Please accept the offer when you send the images. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, I did a podcast today with the guy came into, I know Meadow's so cute. He's Sean Kelly, you know. I did know who it was. Someone asked me if I knew who Sean Kelly was in another video. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And after I'm like, I know who that is. Anyway, he was in LA. So he was doing back-to-back podcasts today with guests from LA. So I believe I was first in this morning. So yeah, I love my family. That's all I love. Yeah, this is Flesh Pot, 90s lipstick, or maybe 60s, made again in the 90s. Yeah, I don't know how I looked on that because the lighting, the cameras pick up every flaw. And I was wearing like cool tone makeup with a cool tone, like this color shirt. So we'll see. Kenna, I didn't call her up to help me with my makeup. Yeah, I've been on TV a long time. I was around a long time. I've been in this profession 40 years. I say it, I don't even care. It doesn't matter. Just think people always go, she just popped up. She must be blah, blah, blah. I didn't just pop up. I've been around a long fucking time. Long time. Yeah. Okay, I'm moving my chair. And I'm reading all the messages that are coming up from my aerial class because we're doing another, not retreat, like weekend thing. And there are no flesh tides. I did hike today. I hike every day, pretty much. Very rarely do I miss a hike. Yeah, I was on several Montels, so several of them. Yeah, Charlie Sheen is a bitch. Do you know the names I've been called since what happened, right? Do you know the names I've been called? I've been called racist, anti-Semitic, stupid. They're like, they've called me all kinds of names. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? I'm none of those things, you dumbasses. And it's funny. So you can see the Kawartha Lakes. Yes, I know the Kawarthas. They used to hang out there. Used to hitchhike, thumb out, hitchhike. Don't tell people that. It's not good. Yeah, I was on Sean Kelly's show. So it's the Digital Hour podcast, I want to say. Of course, I'm going to say that wrong. But yeah, no, I really liked him. Sean Kelly, I really liked him. He's a smart kid. I like all these young kids that do the podcasts. My friend Andrew, I really like him. They're smart as shit. I love these young kids. They were so smart. They're so smart. I'm called a witch. Yeah, I put a B in front of it. That's what I get called. These kids are so smart. Like Andrew is only 23. Sean is 28 because I ask. But I mean, they are very, very smart. And it's so enjoyable to meet two young podcasters who are really intelligent and can think, just it's really lovely. Like I God knows what my face looked like. I was worried about it and I couldn't even get ready because it's not his normal studio. And I'm like packed too much makeup on and I didn't bring the makeup wipes. And I'm like, I know I look like a freak. I don't care. But anyway, I just like, please light my face. Please, for the love of God, light my face. Okay. Anyway, it was, yeah, you pulled your hip. I understand how that is. I have to constantly, stretch, which I just came. No, those two kids are great. I mean, I call them kids. They're young men. They're kids to me because they're younger than my kids, But it was really fun and they're so intelligent. This is what I enjoy. I enjoy having a conversation with whomever is intelligent. Like it's lovely. And they don't buy into the mainstream media. They know exactly what's going on. And it's so lovely. Like whatever they're showing you on the news is bullshit because all the young kids I know, like all my son, his friends, their friends, I mean, and Mariah Carey's MK Ultra. I mean, they're so lovely. So it was a real pleasure. And he was doing 5 back to back. I'm like, you're doing 5 back to back? I go and be asleep on the couch like this. I did fall asleep before I went to class. But anyway, yeah, they're sensible. They don't buy into the bullshit. They really don't. And they're kind. Yes, it's so nice. Like, it's just so nice. It's so nice. You can have your opinion about somebody. Who cares? You can think anybody's a jackass. That's fine. You don't have the right to take their life. You just don't. Tallulah's outside. She brought a lizard in today, so I was napping. And I opened my eye because I saw something come squiggling by. And I'm like, it better not be a fucking rodent. And then, so I had to dig out everything on the floor. My floor is a disaster. And literally, I'm like looking for this rodent, but it was a baby lizard. I saved the lizard and I went out. Yeah, so it was a great day. It was a podcast and a great day. I'm fixing like graphics so I can really brand myself. And I'm going to start going live on Rumble. Because YouTube censors a bit. So I know I got the lizard out. Tallulah was like guarding me. Just go to the gym and saw Sloan is live. Oh yeah, go to the gym and take your listen on your thingy. Wait, hold on. Anyone who thinks murdering Charlie Kirk is okay, I think you meant to say. Yeah, it's so interesting. You can't have an opinion. And I was laughing. So Estelle sent me a video. Hi, Estelle. And Jana, Estelle's mom, they still haven't been permitted for their house in the Palisades. To the person who said to me that Newsom was better than Charlie Kirk. Okay, you obviously don't live in California, mental patient. No, I was involved in that Randy Quaid thing peripherally. I can't even say it. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Newsom I'm like, do you live in California? Excuse me, troll. Do you live in California? Do you live in California? Okay. Do you live there? Because if you live there, you would know it's different. You know what I mean? You would know it's different. Oh my God. So yeah, it's just pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Can you tell us your opinion? I don't think it's the gunman. I said that on the podcast. I don't think it's the same person. I don't know why he's involved, but I don't think it's him. That's just my instinct. And I kind of think it's a hologram. I don't know what I mean by that. we were talking before we went on the podcast about people saying that Charlie's hands didn't look like real hands. When I buried my son, I did not embalm, and I did not do any kind. The only thing I did was makeup, which means, and it wasn't makeup, it was to close my son's eyes and keep them closed because they die with their mouths open, and to shut his mouth. I saw him that way. It didn't bother me other than he was dead, but it bothers other people when they're doing a viewing. So I paid a makeup artist to make sure Keithy looked like little Keithy. And when you look at him, he looks like a baby Keith wrapped in a blanket, like an angel, but he's an adult. Charlie Kirk's hands look like my uncle's hands, Bobby. When he died, they did do embalming and they did wax on the hands. So when they embalm, they do the wax. Estelle just messaged me. I gave her a rabbit hole to go down. Anyway, I'll tell you guys, y'all can go down it too. Anyway, when my Uncle Bobby, when he died and I looked at him, he didn't resemble himself. Because they put the paraffin wax to hold the texture of the skin, right? So they do that. Yeah, one day, the picture of Keith, maybe I'll show people briefly. It's not bad. It looks like Keith. It looks like he's sleeping. It looks like him as a baby, but he's a grown man dressed in a blankie. That's how it looks. But the waxy looking, because I was telling Sean, I said, that could actually be accurate because they do put the wax on the hands, the paraffin wax, right? So that like it's not look, my uncle didn't look like his body, like when they put the wax. And I know it was very sad to see Keith. I just flashed on that though. I flashed on what it's like. I was so disconnected. I go on tangents about this, but I was so disconnected that when the kids went in to view him, like it was, because it was during Newsom's time, you couldn't have the body near the crematorium. So the funeral home was nice enough to take Keithy across the street in a garage. That's where his friends could view him, more than 4 people, okay? Because they only wanted to let us view through an iPad, and that was unacceptable to me. That was unacceptable. And I went nuts, okay? Like I said, just bring my son back home. Like, just bring my fucking son back home. Like, I'll fucking leave him in the living room. I was nuts. Okay. John's like, please don't do that. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. And I couldn't stop crying. And at that time, but anyway, what the hell was my point? Oh yeah. One of the little girls, Allie, she came out of the room. I hadn't gone in the room. I'd already seen Keith on the road, but I hadn't gone in the room to see Keithy dressed on the stretcher in the blankie. They couldn't put a suit on him because his body was damaged. Anyway, I've told you this. But Allie came out and she was crying. And I stopped her and I said, why are you crying? Like, I couldn't connect the two. I couldn't connect the two. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how distraught. So you can't really judge somebody when they're going through. I think George is okay now. I haven't talked to him for a while, but I did talk to him just a little while ago. Yeah, I couldn't connect why she was crying when coming out of that room. I didn't understand. Like, my brain literally would not understand why she was crying. And took me 2 years to go, oh, that's what happened. So you can't really judge people at a funeral because you just don't fucking know how they're going to respond. I literally was like stone-faced and I just couldn't wait to get the fuck out of that room. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I've got to get out of here. I didn't kiss him. I didn't do any of those things. Jason did. I did not. I just had to get away from that body and get to the funeral and do it and then go about my business. That's what I had to do. So, but I can tell you from looking at his skin and everything, he looked like Keith. I mean, I could tell his nose was broken and I could see the scrapes. Kid was always fighting anyway, like meaning he was like boxing and kickboxing. So he did break his nose a few times. Yes, I know. And John, when I saw Jimmy, I didn't like the way Jimmy looked in the casket. That was my first, like, I had a nervous breakdown after I saw Jimmy in a casket. I did not after I saw my own son. Jimmy didn't look like himself. And his hair, he had long hair. And he always wore it in a ponytail and shit. But I didn't like the way the end of the hair looked. And it freaked me out. And then I just had a baby, so I had postpartum. I just had Keithy. And I just remember knocking into the flowers and trying to get through the wall to get out of the room where the coffin was. My stepson, Keith's brother, So when Keith was born, his brother passed away, but I just literally, I saw him in there and it just made me nuts. I went just fucking nuts, nuts. So the way people speak at any kind of funeral, I really can't judge. I really can't judge. I know John couldn't speak at either funeral, okay? John did not speak for either child. I know I didn't know I was supposed to do a eulogy. That's how weird. I had no fucking idea. I couldn't associate like you. So Kim, Jordan's mom, stepped up and George's mom stepped up. And then Lila grabbed my hand and wanted to talk. So I went up with Lila and mumbled something. I don't know what the fuck I mumbled and I left. But so I don't think you can judge the wife is my point. And the hands are the wax, paraffin wax. When you have cancer or any kind of disease in your body, they cut that disease out, especially cancer, and they put it in paraffin wax for the doctors so they can cut a little bit of the wax off with the disease, whatever disease of cancer you have or whatever it is, and then they can look at it under a microscope. So that's what they do. So the hands look very weird. I remember Bobby had like almost like a tanned look to him from the wax. My uncle, it's actually John's uncle, Bobby. He was in his 70s. Larry's like 65, 66, 67. I can't remember. These are John's cousins. John's the oldest, and there were 3 other cousins on the other side. 2 of them have passed, and then it's just Larry and John left from the 2 mothers. Anyway, so Uncle Bobby, when we saw him, I noticed the wax on the hands. So when I look at Charlie Kirk's hands, I see the wax on the hands. That isn't surprisingly shocking. Some people think that it's not him. Hi, Ashley, honey. Hi. So yeah, it's interesting. So I wouldn't say that that's fake. And the coloring looks different with wax. That's why when Keith looked like his little freckles and his little strawberry hair. Keith looked like Keith. And I know that I'm not going to do embalming because I know what they do. They suck all your blood out and then they pump you full of chemicals. Ugh, no, like no need to mutilate your loved one. That's my opinion. Just my opinion. I don't do shit like that. When I saw Deanna's grandson, he looked like himself, but you could also see the preparation for the funeral. And I didn't get close enough. I did not go up to the coffin because we were sitting by the coffin, me and Deanna. I think Deanna did, but I did not. And he looked like him, but he had a different color to his skin. Jesse was mixed race, but his skin tone was not the skin tone when he was alive. So it was different. And so that may be how they embalmed the body. May have been that. You know, that was very hard too. So yeah. So when I didn't embalm Keith. Keith and I were like hippy dippies. We used coconut oil to shower in. You know, he used my sunscreen. We didn't like fluoride. You know, Keith and I were like that. Yeah, the mortuary makeup, whatever it was, it didn't look like the color of Jesse. So, I mean, the kid, but then he's not alive, so that light is not going to be there. So when they look at the hands in the coffin, I don't know that would make me think that it was fake. I don't think that would. Embalming, just not something. Anyway, that's what Sean and I were talking about before we went on air, because he's like, people are saying they think the hands are fake. That's my whole point to this. You know, there's some herb. My friend knows what herb it is, and I can't even remember what she told me. That is a sunscreen herb that you can take. That's a sunscreen. Now, what I said to, I texted Estelle before I went live. You know what? I said, look up Groyper, Groyper. When it comes to Charlie Kirk, look up Groyper, look up Transmaxing, look up Black Pill, and look up Looksmaxxing, and then understand that it goes back to like Bruce Jenner. Just listen to what Transmaxing is. Go down that rabbit hole. Estelle's like, I'm going down the rabbit hole. And it involves the furries and all of that shit, okay? And they're calling it alt-right. So yes, Black Pill, red pill, blue pill, Black Pill, Transmaxing. Yeah, no, I knew nothing because, yeah, I've never even heard of it. But apparently, the shooter, allegedly, I don't believe he's the shooter, but the young man that they have there at 22 who had the cognition. I mean, I guess he could be a trained killer. But anyway, his partner, I don't know how else to word it. So his partner apparently brought up the transmaxing and all of that and the furries. I don't know that. I know about the furries from CSI. Estelle is gorgeous. She's one of my favorite people. I laugh my ass off with Estelle. I laugh my ass off with her. When we go out, we cannot shut up. It's hilarious. Our group of friends, but Estelle is especially on my wavelength. So when you're looking at it, a groiper is, I guess, the group of people that Charlie Kirk would argue with, and there's a leader to them. There's a whole manifesto, a leader. I don't know. It sounds foreign to me. But look it all up. Yeah, Jana. I love Jana because she made Estelle. And it's so weird, you know, it's just Nick Fuentes. Thank you. Go Google him along with Groiper. See, you know, and furries. What are the furries? I can't deal with the furries. But anyway, Estelle sent me this video today of Mr. Rogers. Okay. So it's Mr. Rogers. So Mr. Rogers in his neighborhood wearing his little sweater, right? And he's like, a boy turns into a man. A girl turns into a lady. You're born a boy, you're a man. You're born a girl, you're a lady. Like, it's along those things. You remember Mr. Rogers? I go to Estelle. You know what would happen if you put that video on TV now? He'd be in Charlie Kirk's position. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, no, I mean, seriously, I couldn't, I just was like, you couldn't advertise that now. He could not say that. He could not say that. Anyone want to give pronouns? No. I never give pronouns. I'm Sloan. That's who I am. That's it. I have a name. I don't need you to know what I am. You can see what the fuck I am. It doesn't matter if I identify as whatever I identify as. My name is Sloan, so I'll call you by your name. Oh, Andro. I was just talking about Andro. I was saying how smart you kids are. Andro thinks he's grown, but he's a kid because he's younger than my kids. Okay, seriously, maybe Andro knows about this because the younger generation seems to know about the subculture, alt-right, and computer incels. So look up Black Pill, look up Groiper, look up Transmaxing, look up Looksmaxxing, and I got stuck right there. I'm like, that's, and furries, because they're saying that's connected. Yeah, I can't say the latter, Sarah C. I can't say that. But Mr. Rogers would be in the same position as Charlie Kirk if he said what was on the video, right? Baphomet agenda. There, we, Canadian we. Yeah, Baphomet agenda. So look that shit up, the furries. I know. I'm like, does he go through the drive-thru and order a kid's meal with a plushie? And does he get off on the plushie? Like, I can't. I can't. I can't. But when it Looksmaxxing, when you look up looks, like Looks, maxing, and Chad, so look up a Chad, look up Looksmaxxing. All your gym rats are kind of like Looksmaxxing, like Arnold, Looksmaxxing, right? That's the definition. I don't know if that was in his thinking, Arnold Schwarzenegger, at the time. I met somebody who's related to his baby mama, not Maria, the other lady, this weekend. I was like, wait, what? She's your family member? I was like, whoa. Looksmaxxing. So, like, it's pretty mental. But it's so funny because we seem to think, like, we misplace women all the time. And it's because there's, like, I think underneath it's rooted in misogyny because they think they can just do whatever they want to look like a woman. I'm looking at my outfit. You know, I just got out of school. They are liars. And it was, of course it's a professional hit. That kid is 22. Not that he can't be brainwashed into that, but it just doesn't seem, it was Israel, not Groipers, not Groipers. Okay, I'm working at Disneyland. I'm reading all these texts coming in. I don't think I'll be able to attend. Oh, one of our aerialists is working at Disneyland. A grown-ass person. All right, I'll shut up. No, well, the kid's taking the fall for a reason, okay? The kid's taking the fall for a reason. And I don't really understand what that is, but it's been set up. There's central casting. There's, you know, crisis actors. We all know that. But, totally switching subjects. So yeah, he has MK Ultra. They all have MK bestiality. I can't. So Zac Efron, is he a Looksmaxxer? Have you looked at Zac Efron? I used to know the producer used to come to my house all the time. He was my friend's neighbor of High School Musical and Hairspray. Anyway, Zac Efron, look at him. What the actual freaking, I can't figure out how the spelling, oh no, it's Groiper. I wrote it down because I was trying to tell John and he's like, I've had enough of this. He goes, I've had enough of this. I've had enough. Yeah, you spelt it right, K Mino, or Mino. It's Groyper, and then it's trans, like transgender, but maxing. John's like, I need to hang up. He goes, why wouldn't those people be, I said they're alt-right. Like they think that Charlie Kirk was too, not conservative enough. So they're going down a whole other like thing, a whole other trend. And I said, it's considered to be alt-right. And he's like, no, that would be left or it would be in the middle, whatever, the people who don't want government. And I said, you would think that, but they're labeling it under this. And I don't know what the cross label is with that. I'm out of mints. It's a good thing you're not here. I have onion breath. Anyway, I don't know what the cross reference is with that. Yeah, no, of course, Zach. I mean, okay, whatever. I'm not going to say of course, but smoking the blueberry muffin. But yeah, they're an incel kind of fringe group. Now, when they use the word transmaxing, Looksmaxxing, I think of Mad Max. Remember Tina Turner and what's his name? You know, the one they caught on the racist tape. The fuck is his name? You know what I mean? Oh, I can't even remember his name. Mel Gibson. He was in Mad Max, right? Was it Mel Gibson? Was it Dolph Lundgren too? I'm going back in time here. Anyway, you think his wife knew he was going to be taken out? I don't judge her response because they may understand. Okay, how do I want to word this? They just murdered somebody's family, actually in a different country that we're not supposed to mention, but they murdered 10 members of that family because she wrote a film that got picked up in the however you say it, film festival, and they just took her pregnant sister out and 10 family members because she wrote about that particular country, and 10 of them were murdered. So I'm assuming if you're a mother with children, you're probably going to shut your fucking mouth, right? So yeah, look that up. I can't say where or how, but you know what I'm talking about. It was called Metrosexual not too long ago. No, I think this is different because they're all dressing as women, right? Zac Efron, Mickey. Oh, Mickey Rourke is such a narcissist Virgo. He's like a Virgo narcissist, Mickey Rourke. He was fantastic in 9.5 weeks. Loved Mickey Rourke. Yeah, of course he's going to be a target. Do you know my friend? Okay, I don't know if you know this, but if you go to TikTok, my actual friend in my real life, Cindy, she calls herself Cindy Alexis 2.0. Her account was taken. My account with almost 500,000 was taken. I'm not as diligent as she is and dedicated to doing it, but she got death threats. I'm sorry for laughing. If only they knew, if only they met her husband. But anyway, she got death threats for saying that you shouldn't be murdering people. People told, yes, she literally screenshotted them. So I messaged her. I'm like, what the actual? She goes, yeah, fuck these people. So and she wasn't saying anything other than, like, why are you applauding this? Like, what's wrong with you? And yes, that's how, yeah, there, Looksmaxxing, yeah. So anyway, getting back to Looksmaxxing, it stands to reason that Arnold Schwarzenegger might be a Looksmaxxer. And those women, there's a chick on TikTok. She's tiny, petite little woman. She looks it, or maybe she's trans, I don't know, but her boobs are out to here. Like she's teeny tiny little legs, and I've never seen such boobs. The idea behind Looksmaxxing is to utilize your looks in order to gain favor in society. But here's the thing that they don't understand. The more attractive you are in society, the more you're going to get bashed, okay? So there's that. Hold on. Tasha K, the wino who drinks on her podcast is talk. Yeah, okay. They can talk smack about me all they want. That's fine. I've been around 40 years and I have a huge clientele that's been with me 4 decades, longer than she's probably been alive. So you're going to talk smack because you want to bring my name into a conversation in order to gain whatever it is you're trying to gain. I can't help it. So I don't know what to say to people who trash talk me, because I have family members who trash talk me. So, whatever, it is what it is, right? It doesn't matter. I continue to be successful, so you can trash talk my ass all you want and don't care. So anyway, yeah, well, let's see. Yeah, I've already been there. I've been on camera going back to 1987. 1987. Okay? 87. I don't know what to say, but just 87. Take a number. Yeah, take a fucking number. Get in fucking line, bitch. Get in line. She probably has hoofs. Yeah, that's how long I've been. I mean, I was on camera as a 15-year-old, but I was in Toronto, not here. But nonetheless, I have a body of work that just suggests that perhaps I'm not an idiot. I could be. Maybe you want to think I am. It's fine. Think what you want. But it's so interesting because, wait, Charlie Kirk, Captain Kirk, Star Trek. Yeah, I thought of that. This morning. I actually thought of that. So, but still, okay, yeah, I don't know what to say. I get called a lot of things. I get called all kinds of like names and this and that. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter to me what you think of me because you don't pay me. I don't work for you, and I can do what I want when I want. You can threaten me and someone could shoot me. That's fine. You do what you got to do, boo. Do what you got to do. It's no skin off my back. But I just noticed that the trolls, hoofs, yeah. Hairy hoofs. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Like, you want to come for me? And it's usually people that don't, I'll just say, you're a Fed. Yeah, I mean, John cracks up the most to that. He's like, yeah, you FBI agent. My friend who's no longer a homicide detective because she retired finally. She was a lawyer. She was in school for law. She became a LAPD homicide detective. She's the one that helped me with Keith, Detective Stacy. She's retired and she's just spending her time exercising and enjoying her cats and her man. Okay. So like, that's so great for her because she literally has told me what happens like out in public and how things get flipped even when you're on the side. Like, she's a tall blonde woman and she worked with the gang unit. Okay. So she worked like with people that no one else wants to deal with and the murders in that community. And she's one of the best, but people are still going to call her names. They're going to call, you don't fool anyone. Oh, really? Anyway, they're going to call her names because she's white with bleached hair. So they're going to call her all kinds of fucking names, racist names and shit like that because she's white. So really the people who are saying that are the racists. You get the gist of it. But she laughs her ass off when she says, oh, you're a Fed. Okay. Whatever. It's kind of funny, but it's interesting. And the more you make fun of me, the more money I make at the bank. The more I trot off to the bank with my money. So keep doing it because you keep my name relevant. You keep my name relevant. And when you keep my fucking name relevant, I make more money off your trolling. So keep it up. Thank you so much, because I'll have that Audi soon, okay? I mean, come on. More like no one can fool you. Okay, yeah, I'm not fooling anybody. It's literally, I've been public for 40 years and I've been, I don't know what to say. The people know me. The people know me in my neighborhood. Yeah, no, I just dance to the bank. Dance into the bank. The more you do, the more you troll someone, the more you raise their public. I know, Lou. I fed Lou. The ants came back for Lou's treats. They got on the floor and there was an ant attack. But the more you troll someone, like even if you fucking hate them, right? You hate them, like for real. But the more you troll them, the more you make their name public. And anytime anybody speaks about me, I turn it into money. So it comes to me as money, right? Yeah, you hate me, you love me. You love me. Yeah, I'm still live. I am still live. I mean, last time I checked, still alive. Yeah, so it's just, I don't know what to, I'm going to quote Charlie Sheen, winning. I hate that guy. See, I hate that guy. I hate that guy. But people aren't going to like everybody. And especially people there, yeah, Clint Eastwood. There's, to quote Clint Eastwood, who's in his 90s, whatever, there's no such thing as bad press. I was listening to Muhammad Ali today, and I love Muhammad Ali because he's a Capricorn Leo rising with an Aquarius moon. So I love his indifference. I love Muhammad Ali's indifference. And he had the same, I used to love it because he was a Leo rising, Tiger's blood. Well, the Tiger's blood was adrenochrome. However, Muhammad Ali had the same like arm length as Keithy, and they were both Leo risings. Is Tom Cruise like a little gay? He likes fish. Go look up Tom Cruise and fish fucking. Enjoy yourself. Another rabbit hole. Please go down. Go down that one. Yeah, Muhammad Ali. So Muhammad Ali is a young man at the time, and he's literally so Leo on the stage. Well, he's a Capricorn, and he only got better as he got older, but I don't know who he's fighting. But he's fighting them, and he's ducking and weaving and ducking and weaving, and then he's like wiggling his hips. I mean, you just want to punch him out, right? But they couldn't get near. They couldn't get near him. So yeah, Muhammad Ali. It was great. Yeah, Tom Cruise and fish. Please go down that rabbit hole. I had to. You need to do it. Go to the blind items of Tom Cruise and fish. Vancouver, British Columbia, and fish. The produce department and fish in the bathroom. Please do it. You'll thank me later. Look up fetus in a jar. You'll thank me again. Yeah, Ali's daughter is gorgeous. But I just really was so fascinated at how wise Muhammad Ali was when he was younger. He said, they go, are you not going to go, to Vietnam and with the Viet Cong or whatever? And he's like, I'm not at war with them. And they're like, this and that. And he goes, they don't call me the N-word. You guys call me the N-word here. Such a poignant point. Such a poignant point. Talking about just the fact that Johannesburg, there you go. Talking about my adopted family, England and Johannesburg, my adopted mother. Anyway, and then Canada. So the family was born in Johannesburg, moved her to England, and then moved to Canada. She was on the rounds whenever she was young. Cassius Clay. I actually love his real name, but he converted to Islam. And it was just interesting to listen to him. He said, why am I fighting the government's war? It's their war. He's on point. These young men, and they're usually black or impoverished because they give them the lure of going to school. So they give them the lure of like you get an education, which we're taught is all that matters, right? Yeah, I'll talk about Steven Tyler's feet. My little hairdresser friend does his hair. I met her through the Mexican singers at the house, and these two hairdressers were all dialed up. Anyway, and then they started hiring me, and then, they are in the Diana Ross group, the Steven Tyler group. I wasn't staring at his feet or anything, but I'll talk about his feet because I believe that I understand. Oprah has similar feet, and I'll tell you what I believe. Anyway, Not the point. But when I listen to Muhammad Ali, he is so wise about that, because why do we send, and why do we think it's okay to send 16, 17, and 18-year-olds, right, to war, and they come back without their limbs? I mean, and it's a war that nobody won that war. So what I love, I love it when he goes like this. Ah. He makes a face and you're just looking at him like, huh? Yeah, human weapons. That's exactly right. And it's interesting. He said, I'm not going to do it. He said, they don't call me those names. You guys call me. And the reporter was just like, wait, what? And so I've always thought that. And in Canada, we don't have war. Yeah, oh my God, Cruz went into the bathroom with the raw fish. I told you, Nora, go look it up. I'm just like, I can't unhear it. And I had to send the video. There was a video. It was on TikTok a while back. And I literally had to send it to everybody I know. And they were like, what the actual fuck are you doing? I'm like, I shouldn't have to look at this if you don't have to look at it, right? But anyway, with the Steven Tyler feet, now I don't know what's wrong with Oprah's feet or Steven Tyler's feet or anybody that has feet like that. It could be a bunion, because bunions make your feet grow. But let's look at the Illuminati or the Freemasons or the bloodline families or the Baphomet people or the beast system people or the fucking people that rule us and are better than us because we're not them, okay? So they look down on us. They all kings and queens. You're just a peasant, bitch. Anyway, when you look at those people, they do... Okay, that Bobby taught me this. P.I. Bobby. Bobby. Watch the movie Murder in the Suburbs. That's Bobby. Celia Ward plays Bobby with a bad Texas accent because Bobby doesn't really talk like that, but that's Bobby's case. And she also worked on the serial killer, the DuPont guy that was beheading everybody all the time. She worked on that too. Anyway, so Bobby told me about somebody, I'm not saying their name, but somebody who was, I haven't fixed the doors yet. The fucking doors. My God. Anyway, Bobby, she worked with somebody whose family was a bloodline family, and they do something, and they cut Nephilim bloodline. You're exactly correct. So they do, and mixed with aliens and other planetary positions, but they do something where they glamorize you for their god, which is Baphomet. So take with it what you will, Satanists. You can be a garden variety Satanist, but they do something where they knock your teeth out. Like, I'm thinking of Zac Efron, what happened to him was a ritual. So with the feet, how do you hurt somebody? Like the police used to tell people, just hit them with a phone book and it won't leave a bruise. These people want to leave marks and break bones, but they're not going to do it where you're going to see it. So they're not going to come up and, like, I don't know, rip your arm off, but they will destroy you. They'll, like Michael Jackson's hair burning incident strikes me as that. The Black Eye Club, yes, absolutely. But the feet breaking is very common. So if you look at a lot of these celebrities' feet, now my feet look really like I have to do them pretty good because I run so much. And when you run downhill, it just smashes your toes in, and my left one just grew back. But I would, you know, I pedicure them every 2 weeks and make sure they're really short for running. So what happens when you break bones that you don't see? So if I fuck you up, yes, the boots, all of that. If I fuck you up on your feet, you've been initiated in a different way. But when I looked at Zac Efron's face, that's what I thought. Or one of his gay dates got like ripped on some drugs and just beat the shit out of him. You know, that's what I thought. Florida, but that's what they do. And this particular person that Bobby was telling me about, in the rituals that they did, they will knock your teeth out. They will cut your hair off. Like, it may never grow back because they'll scalp you. Now, I had a client who was connected to Michael Jackson, and her husband was found hung in the front yard, and their dogs were scalped. So they do that kind of shit. And you can look that up. But you can look that shit up. But that actually happened. He was found in his front yard after dropping his kids at school, which I highly doubt he did to himself, okay? And, you know, he was working with Michael Jackson. So that has happened. That does happen. And they love the little girl. You guys heard about the little girl? she's 21. Beautiful girl from Russia. Have you heard about that? The girl that went to Dubai. There's all kinds of noise going on out here. The little girl, real cute little blonde. She went to Dubai for a porta potty. I can't even say it without gagging. Porta potty party. 23. You know who I mean then. Her name is really pretty little girl. Lovely. Every attribute that you would want. Tall, statuesque, lovely looking. They beat the holy fucking shit out of her. She says it's 2 guys she went home with, but I think she said it's not going to be like whoever those sheikhs are, and it's none of them. It was just these 2 random guys that decided to party with her and just practically kill her. She was found on the side of the road with a broken back, broken knob, broken jaw, broken neck, broken hips. She didn't speak. She was catatonic. She didn't speak for like a half a year. Now, this reminds me of my former best friend. I don't talk to her anymore. This is her knowledge, not mine, but I heard it through her. She told me that, you hear the beeping, beep, beep, beep. She told me that, and I've mentioned this before, so I'm just going to word it like this. Donahue's father-in-law. So you know who I'm talking about. He ran St. Jude's, right? Danny Thomas. She goes, well, you know what he does. This is my friend telling me this. And she's John's age. So she's almost 80. She told me about Bill Cosby way before that happened. Way before that happened, okay? 15 years before Bill Cosby got arrested, she told me that. What he did and what he did in the studio. Because she worked at that same studio lot where Cheers was. So Danny, this is her telling me, and this is in 2003, 2004, okay? And of course it's trafficking there. They don't give a shit about us. So Danny Thomas, now, he didn't want to, I don't know if he wanted to defecate on people. I have no idea. Okay, she didn't mention that. But what she said is there's a form of sex. This is my friend telling me. So it's hearsay from her to me. So you have a glass table in a house, in a hotel, in a wherever, right? A glass table, correct? And you can sit under the glass table, move all the magazines, and you could have a dancing girl above you, and she could be dancing all cute, and you could see what you needed to see. But what if she had to go to the bathroom? That's what my friend said that he would pay for. I can't. I can't. John almost threw me out of the car when I repeated that. He's like, get the fuck out of the car. Get out of the car. He's like, get out. He's like, ah. No, but she told me that. So when you go, yes, not peeing. Yes, right. And then when you look at the things that happen, like with Lindsay Lohan, and there was another one, Lindsay Lohan and somebody else, before she turned into the new Lindsay Lohan, whatever that is. But Lindsay Lohan, you know, there was hotel staff that went in the room and kind of had to clean up the same kind of mess after those 3 of them were in a hotel. And that's a blind item, and I can't remember. Of course she's a yacht girl. They all know that. That's not even feral. That's debauched. This is debauchery. Now, yeah, adrenochrome. I don't know if she is or not, but let's look at it a different way. I'm just good. Danny wasn't like shaking hands. You bet he didn't. You bet it. But now let's look at this. Yeah, he didn't. You betcha. The witness. Okay, so but that's like literally, this is a shit that's talked about behind the scenes. So when you get back to Charlie Sheen and everything, everybody owes Denise Richards an apology. Okay, an apology. Because she told the truth about the child porn. And again, Mark Salling, however you say his name. And that's it. I mean, she told the truth. Why do we normalize golden showers? I'm just curious. It's not quite as vile as the second thing, but of course they're all into it. Now let's look at this. Let's look at why. Why would you be in? I can't. My mind is tweaked. I can't. Okay, so why would you participate in that? And why would you bring someone to a party to participate in that kind of, I don't know why that shadow, look, I should get some tape. Tape ain't gonna help. All right, so why would you participate in that? So if I am of the beast system and a Baphomet worshiper or a Satanist and I'm talking high ranking, not your average fucking teenager nut job that wants to be a Satanist because it's cool, not that person. I'm talking about people who really understand what they're doing and are invested in it. So you take God's children, and you get them to commit sin. Not just like I smoked a cigarette sin, or I stole a couple of bucks from my mom when I was 10, or I robbed a store. I mean, I shoplifted, not robbed, shoplifted. You know, I cheated, whatever. These are not good, but they're not the same as what I'm talking about. So when they get you to participate in that, what happens if you die suddenly? Your etheric body leaves with guilt and shame. And then you're susceptible to going into that reincarnation loop again, where they can hijack you back into here. So the goal is to not partake in that, but they'll lure you with money. And sometimes they lure you to a party. I know it almost happened to me. Again, I texted John and said, oh my God, I'm with a bunch of fucking Satanists and the walls just open up and I saw, and they're trying to get me. That's what I said. And I can't leave because we're in the middle of a performance, right? John says, what's your grocery list? And so I started thinking it so they couldn't read my mind. But it's really, really, really interesting because when you look at things like spirit cooking, when they're bringing an entity in, which is an actual thing that can happen, whether you believe it or not. I know it's hell here. No, he couldn't come get me. He didn't know the location I was at. It was a private family event. But anyway, and I didn't tell him. You know, I went with my friends. But I would have put tinfoil on my head if I had it in my purse. But I didn't carry tinfoil. But anyway, when you're looking at what's going on, they want you. Well, think of the grocery list, because then you're not thinking in fear, right? You're not thinking fearful. You're just thinking of like eggs, onions, tomatoes, this, that, the spirit cooking. They pull an entity in. They need somewhere to house the entity. So you could take this bottle. They need somewhere to grow it energetically. They need human substance. Yeah, Marina Abramovic. Human substance. Breast milk, shit, this. They do all kinds of stuff. They can put, now, there's the thing, they can put a consciousness. They're talking about that doll in Kentucky. That, no golden shower. they can, I know, people, we're all having golden showers if you swim in a public pool or a lake, really. But that doll, that Annabelle doll, they say it's possessed, but what it is it's got probably a spirit attached to it, right? And the spirit does what, yeah, Annabelle doll. These things are real. It's just we don't talk about them. People haven't seen it. If you've ever seen a spirit manifested and you know how it works, you know it happens. It happens. It happens, period. And I don't, why do you think they do it? Why do you think that's it, la boo-boo. Sorry, it is real. No, it is REAL, not the country of. It is a real action to an energetic, it's a reaction to an energetic action. So exactly, when you're looking at entities, they move with jinns and gens, whatever, the genies, they move with the gens by their side. They move with the gens. And when you look at things, and you look at like the Seal of Solomon, which I used to use in spell work back in the day, Solomon in the Bible was the one that was in charge of the demons. And so, and I don't read the Bible, but I know that part. So why are you using the Seal of Solomon to perform rituals? Ask yourself that. So I know it works. And they use, that's why I can't look at those movies like Frankenstein, where they cut like somebody's arms on, put them on that person's leg and all of that, because that's what they try to do. And when you look at somebody like Michael Jackson at the end of his life, right, and his nose is so damaged, then why are they doing that? What are they hiding with that, right? Jinn is near the pyramids. A man took a photo. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. 200K per porta potty. You can't pay me enough. 200K ain't enough. I can make that myself. I don't need to do porta potties. I can't even go to the bathroom in a porta potty. When I pull up to one of the, camps I go to or one of the races I do and they have porta potties, if I have to use a bathroom, I have to be first in it and then I'm never going back in it. Then I'm never going back in it. Never. Okay, never. Although in Mexico, I will say, composting toilets, I'm not a fan. Like I literally would do anything to avoid the bathroom. Literally avoid the bathroom. Like literally. No, the jinns are there. They're there. The jinns come. I mean, they do. People capture them for wishes. It's a real thing. PTSD from porta potties, Woodstock. Yeah, you're better off to go in your car in a porta potty of your own. Jinns travel, I know, but you don't want to encourage them in when you're doing spell work. You just don't want to do that, right? Let's see, hold on. She's got a space between her teeth, Brittany. Never had. I don't think it was. No. Probably not at the time, and they had to shut him down. I was just listening to somebody I used to know briefly in my life. His videos are all over the internet. And I'm talking about Dick Gregory. He used to work out at the Burbank YMCA when I first had Jason. I think he was filming in Burbank and he used to be on Saturday Night Live. And I used to work out with Charlie Robinson there too. And you guys told me he passed when he did. Anyway, Charlie was adopted too and he was a Scorpio. So I just remember that straight up. And he was a great runner. Like he was a good, solid runner. Anyway, not the point. So Dick Gregory used to come in and work out at the gym. He literally was outstanding talking about the murders. I watch his stuff now and I'm like, he is legend for that. He is. What happened to Cindy? Wait, they took Dick Gregory out. Yeah, of course he was doing all of that. What happened, Cindy? What happened? Are you muted? I don't know. I can't see what happened to Sid. I don't go into public restrooms. I did this morning and I ran back out. I'm like, that's like a camp. Okay, hold on. Not quite the same because a mother should never bury her child. Yeah, of course, Cindy, I understand that. You'll never be the same. You'll never be the same. Nobody is the same after that. Skinwalkers are 100% true. 100% true, okay? 100. I know, it's just terrible. 100% true. Skinwalkers are true. I see all kinds of things. I see all kinds of things. But understand doing any tarot to date. No, Madam Sloan is not. Skinwalkers, yeah. Desert skinwalkers and stuff. They kind of say the Grand Canyon is Egypt. Yeah, I'm Cherry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you lost your son. Cindy and Cherry both lost their children. I'm so confused. Yeah, there are many other different dimensions. I'm avoiding public in general. Yeah, I feel good in my crib, but then I like to go out too, but I feel good in the crib. Yeah, they say the pyramids. Now, last time I was in the Grand Canyon, I was running up. Was I coming up? Which one was I coming up? Bright Angel. So I was going up Bright Angel, and that's a hell of a haul. It's 9 miles straight the fuck up, okay? Straight the fuck up. And it was 108-degree heat. Because when you go to the bottom, it's hotter. And so by the time you run like your little thing and go back up. Anyway, I was with a bunch of people, like you're passing people, and there was an explosion. And we all stopped. Oh, Cindy lost her mom. I'm sorry, Cindy, you did say that. And Cherry lost her son, and I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, there was an explosion in the Grand Canyon, and I saw the rocks teeter, and I saw the stuff fall down, and so did some other people with me, but yet it was never explained. It was just like, oh, there's an explosion somewhere, and, whatever. So Arizona is a really tricky energy, a really tricky place. Yeah, it's really, really tricky. So we don't really know what's going on in there, but it's interesting. Next thing you know, you're being robbed. I've already been robbed. You can't take anything from me. You can't fucking take it from me because I ain't got anything anymore. So I carry everything on my body of value. There's my value right here. These two right here. You can burn down my house. You can do fucking anything. And there it is. I put it on me. That's why I put it on me, because I've been home invasion robbed twice. So yeah, we went away at Christmas and the robbers pulled up a U-Haul. The robbers pulled up a U-Haul. The little girl, Anne, feeding Tulip at the time, she called me. She's like, where's your car? And I'm like, it's in the driveway or the garage. She's like, no, it's gone. And I'm like, oh shit. And she goes, I think there's someone in your bedroom. I go, don't go in. So her and her brother John pulled away and they called the cops. And they had a U-Haul. They fucking robbed us. We didn't have insurance. So I had no way to buy back anything. Not my wedding rings, not my clothes, not my jewelry, none of that. So yeah, you can't really get me. That's why I tattooed on. All my expensive jewelry is in my face. I guess you could kill me and steal it, but you're probably not going to. Yeah, Lila and Meadow are going on the back. That I'm waiting for. I got to gear up for that. I also have to book with Ruger, but I got to gear up for that because that's going to be, it's okay. It happened. And Jason was held up at gunpoint at the house and they were literally him and John headbutted the guy and then they caught them, right? They caught them, but they were twins. So the one twin said he was the other twin and they said, we're taking you right to jail because that kid already had a felony. And he's like, I'm not that kid. I'm not that kid. I'm this one. So Lila and Meadow are good. Lila won her volleyball game. Meadow's a cheeky monkey. The cutest little girls. They're so cute. Meadow loves her Lila so much. It's really, really cute. Yeah, the twins, they were twins. They were like 6'4" twins. Twin ass, kind of Hawaiian looking kids. And Jason, Ken and Lila were in the car. This is before Meadow and before Keith died. Keith was on his way home and then again, Dorian called him and he went with Dorian. So that happened when his friend got murdered and it happened in the home invasion. Keith got called always by Dorian and went, you know, drove through and back out to go find Dorian both times. Okay. And one time Dorian picked him up. The other time he drove through. So it was Jason. Jason forgot his phone charger at 4 PM and, he got to the door and the guy came up with a gun right on his head. He was 21. So he is now 33. That's how long ago it was. And it was 4 o'clock and I just went to Timmy's to edit. We were doing Street Psychic and Timmy and I were editing. Timmy's born on August 15th. That's why I remember. So I drove to Santa Monica. Timmy, we were doing that. So anyway, I didn't know this. So I'd taken my cell phone. There was no plug-in phone in the house and John left his phone at his work. So Jason's going to get his phone charger. Ken is sitting with Lila in the car up the street. Okay. Not in the driveway because I yelled at them for parking in my spot. So Jason didn't know if I was coming home or not. So, oh, you've been shot twice. Jesus. I'm glad you're okay. Jesus stepped in. So the guy, it's not funny. I found this out. They did not call me. So I got home at midnight and they didn't call me. Like this, the South Rim, South Kaibak to, Bright Angel. Anyway, gun right here. Jason grabbed the gun like this and the guy said something like, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to fucking die. And so then he opened the door. His dad was sitting watching football and he said, that's so good. Jesus, Gypsy Rose. So he called his dad. John tried to get a phone and there was no phone there because Jason's tough as shit. You're not fucking with that boy. But anyway, John comes out and he had a knife in his hand because he couldn't find fucking anything. And so Jason opened the door, called in and then shut it because they were trying to get in the house. And if they got in the house, it would have killed John probably. And anyway, John opened the door and Jason had pushed the one kid away, but the second kid, so there were 2 different kids and one of them was a twin, but the second kid came running sideways and had the gun and was coming straight for Jason. And John, who was in his, 10 years ago, so 69 or 70, it was before his hip surgery. So anyway, John literally, like an Aries, fucking opened the door, saw this guy, this kid was running, saw this guy coming sideways for Jason, lowered his head and literally ran into the guy's stomach and knocked the guy out of his shoes. Literally. Then, no, seriously. So he's 69 or 70 at the time. Literally knocked the guy out of his shoes. This is a true story. So Jason grabs the gun and chases the guy, the first guy that had the gun, down the street and says, I'm gonna fucking kill you, you mother effer, like this. And he's like going down, and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Not one neighbor called the police. Okay, not one neighbor. That's going on. Nobody's calling the police. So yeah, he saved Jason. He also saved Keith at birth. That's no joke. So anyway, the cops get there, right? They got there like 9 at night, and then they came the next day. And so John, he used that fucking thick skull of his. Yeah, no, he saved him, seriously. So no, Jason grabbed the gun, and then Jason said, I want to keep this gun because they fucking pointed at my face. I'm going to keep it. And the cop's like, that's not how it works. 2 detectives came. They showed him pictures, and Jason pointed out the guy, and John pointed out the guy, and one of them was twin. Yeah, John's an Aries, Scorpio, rising, Taurus moon. Jason's an Aries, rising, Cancer, sun, Capricorn moon. So anyway, the cop told Jason when they got the gun that the reason he's not dead, because the guy pulled the trigger on Jason and it never went off, is because they put the wrong size bullets in the gun. That's a straight up true story. That's happened when Jason was 21. And that's like, there's a police report and all of that. So yeah, no, it was outrageous. So we had that. That's our neighborhood. Like, no, just complete idiots. I know, right? I think they just were on drugs and tweaking, really. They happen to be big. And yeah, so as far as I know, they went to jail. And then the home invasion robbers, they caught one because there was a Red Bull beside my bed. And the cop's like, what's this? I'm like, we don't have Red Bull in the house. And he's like, are you sure? Everybody drinks Red Bull. I'm like, I promise you there's no Red Bull in our house. Like, the kids don't drink, we at the time don't drink it, right? Jason's protected by the Most High, that's for sure. He has a mission, he just doesn't know it yet. But anyway, they tested the Red Bull and they got somebody. Now, when the prosecutor asked me to come and testify, because they took, PTSD, absolutely. Asked me to testify. They stole my wedding rings. They stole all of that. And I told you the story. Like, they stole my big wedding ring and all of John's coins, all of Keith's clothes, because it was just Keith's birthday, because it was Christmas, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, on the floor, because we had carpet upstairs, but on the floor, I looked down. So all my new jewelry John gave me and the new diamond, the upgraded diamond, I found the original diamond on the floor in the closet. So technically we have the original diamond back. Sometimes I do the past life stuff. I've seen past lives of mine. I still don't understand why I'm here now. They asked me to testify in court, and I basically hung up on the part. They wanted me to do a statement, a witness statement, and the guy's already in jail. He's already fucked up. I just didn't feel like doing it. I'm talking for my possessions. They're already stolen. They're already hawked. They've already gone. So I just said, no, thanks. I'm not interested, because I didn't want to get involved with the court system. I didn't want to go into court and blah, blah, blah. You stole this from me. I don't really give a shit at stuff. So he went to jail. So that's just it. He went to jail. That was it. Then one day I turned around. Yeah, robbing the bank, right? That would scare the shit out of me too. So we had a lot of that stuff happen. Not everyone is on a mission. Everybody's on a mission, but Jason is protected. Some people are protected because they have healing work to do on the planet. So they have to get to the position where they're able to use their knowledge through their extreme circumstances to heal. Some people live very moderate lives where there isn't a lot of nonsense in them. And other people, like, I call it a psychic life when you've lived that kind of life. When you live a life like that, that's a psychic life. Psychics pretty much have a lot of trauma in their life. You know, and everybody, I'm not on a mission. I reject the mission, okay? I'm not on a mission. I just know when you're protected like that, and I've watched my son, that he's protected by the Most High. I know that. I'm not on a mission. I'm against my will on this planet. I am a hostage. I am a hostage. I'm a hostage. Y'all, I'm a hostage. So I don't presume to do anything for myself, but I can definitely see it with other people. I don't know that we are all on like a mission to heal people at a high level, meaning the masses, but everybody has something very particular in their life that is a healing action they will take to help somebody. And it could be as simple as moving a dog out of the middle of the street, something like that. Yes, a psychic life is a life full of trauma. It absolutely is. I've worked in the profession 40 years and was as a teenager and grew up that way, born that way. It absolutely the fuck is. I don't know anybody with a natural gift at birth that doesn't come from extreme circumstances. Yes, I'm talking a true psychic. I do not subscribe to the fact, I believe it's all trauma on this planet. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We all have trauma. But what I'm saying is they have so many psychics and so many people that do it. But is it everybody's calling, or do they think they can make money from it? I've tried to not do it. Let me put it that way. I've tried to be and do something else, and I'm always drawn back to it. I have not met another one of my co-working, and I've met hundreds of them, okay? Thousands. I've not met one that hasn't had the extremist shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, mine's mild compared to a lot of people. Nothing really happened to me. Mine's pretty mild. I mean, it's some, but not like, I mean, I literally worked with a psychic whose father killed himself in a car with 4 kids in the car at the same time. Like, literally. They watched that happen and were covered in their father. Like, that's extreme crazy. That's unhinged crazy. No, I mean, I've just, you know, the adopted, the sexually abused, the beat up, you know, and you can tell when somebody's psychic because it just is, it is. Is Saturn in the 12th house Scorpio psychic? I don't know how to answer that. You'd have to see the whole chart. Saturn in the 12th house suggests abuse from an older parent or grandparent. And it's also Saturn in the 12th, which is a stifling energy, but it's karma in the 12th and it's tradition in the 12th. So I don't know. You'd have to see the whole chart. Can't really tell with one aspect. Aquarius moons. Any sign can be psychic, honestly. Any sign can be psychic. It's a lineage. And it's an psychic here. Oh, psycho here. Denise is like, I've heard psychics all. Yeah, similar eyes. They might have similar eyes. Excuse me. When you're looking at a chart, you have to embrace the entire chart. When you should know yourself. I know nothing about myself. When will I open for readings? That's the kiss of death question. Yeah, no, I was born this way. Literally born this way. I've known it. I talked to aliens as a child, not on purpose. They just came to me. Why do people do voodoo? Voodoo and hoodoo can be a religious thing. So it's like Catholics that do midnight mass and do rosary, etc., and all of that. There's different levels of psychic ability. There's some really great psychics. There's some not so great. And then there's a lot of people all over the place that say they're psychic. And there's a lot of people that say anyone can be psychic. I'm going to keep my mouth shut about that. I think you're born with it. And I think it's a genetic structure. Just like some people are born tall and with agility. And some people are born short and flexibility. And some people have different attributes. I think psychic ability is an attribute. Santeria also follows in line with a cultural thing. So Catholics got their, you know, their, oh God, now I just blanked on the name of it. You know, I'm sorry. The Irish got their stuff. Their, I can't even remember it. Oh my God, my brain's just going whatever. Every culture has a way of using energy, reading and seeing. Like John's grandmother used to read tea leaves. Okay, that's one way. I'm sure Mormons have their way. I'm sure Celtic. Thank you, Jesus. It went right out. But when you have to do the psychic work, it's something that you have to do. Like, you can't not do it. So you may not want to do it. You can't not do it. I've endured, as many people who do the work, so much flack. I've been called crazy, and I still get called crazy by family members. They like to go, "You're crazy. That's crazy." That's John. I'm not fucking crazy, bitch. Anyway, you get called crazy. People threaten to take your kids. If I ever took you to court, this is what would happen. People say, "You're crazy." My kids loved me and loved the work I did and were so proud of it until they went to high school and the religious people came in and told them I was going to hell. Now, both my children were psychic and my Jason is super psychic, and that's not what happens. If you're of God, you're not going to hell. Like, you're not going to hell for your ability. That's like saying you're going to hell because of your skin color. That's like saying you're going to hell because of the way you see out of your eyes. It's crap. Okay? The three wise men followed the North Star on the advice of a prophet. Charting the stars is astrology, and a prophet is a medieval term for psychic. So I can't. Anyway, I can't. I cannot. Yes, you're going to be okay. Influenza is the flu. No need to freak out about it. Just take care of yourself. I can't recommend learning astrology right now because I don't know who's out writing books. I really have like lost the element of who's teaching. God gives you the ability, but he doesn't give everybody the ability. There's a lot of mediums and psychics out there. They're like, everybody has it. You can tap into it. They want you to think that. Everybody has discernment and the ability to intuitively connect with energies at particular times in their life. They're dead ones. That's all true. But you can't just teach it for everybody to learn it. It doesn't work like that. You can teach me how to sing and I can go to singing classes. I guarantee you, you're not going to want to hear me sing, even though I technically can sing. You're not going to want to hear me. I wanted to say another thing that's so good about what Charlie Kirk said. And again, I didn't watch him. John did. So that's how I knew about him. But I don't like anyone being gunned down. I don't care who it is. I don't want to hear about it. Okay. I just, it's abhorrent to me. But what I wanted to say is people were bagging on him. Come on, sing. No, I mean, I could train to sing and I would have a okay voice, but I'm not a singer. It's not my calling and it's not what I should be presenting. I can sing for fun. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, Charlie Kirk said something about not liking the word empathy, but liking the word compassion. And I'm going to say this and y'all are going to get pissed off and the trolls are going to come here and the bitches online are going to say something. Empathic people, and a heightened empath are people that walk in a room and they empathize. They take their body energy and they connect it to what this person is. A jailed person, a rapist person, a sad person, a person who just lost their mother, father, daughter, son, an unhappy married person. They empathically, which is an intuitive metaphysical term, they empathically connect and read that energy. So empathy, in the way that it really should be used, is a terminology used to describe what you feel off of another person. Compassion is how you treat somebody. So compassion is, yes, they absorb energy. So he's correct when he says that. It's a new age term. It's a new age term. You should have empathy. Well, I don't have to feel everybody's feelings. What I need to have is compassion for somebody's experience that is not mine. Because not everybody is a metaphysical worker with other people's energy. An empath is there to transmute negative into positive. A heightened empath stands there like a abuse victim and transmutes that energy as a mirror to the abuser in whatever way it is. But when they word it like that, like empathy, they are using the context like a juvenile delinquent, rickshawing it all over the place, and they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. So it's weird because compassion is what you have. Like, I'm not growing up in a third world country. I have compassion. I didn't lose my limbs in a war, but I have compassion. I don't want empathy for that unless that's my job by God. I'm not going to want to feel that person's pain. Why? I mean, I already am empathic. I mean, no thanks. It's a psychic thing. It's not for everybody to have. That's not the energy is sensitivity. That's exactly right. So when somebody is compassionate, That's the behavior directed and the kindness you share, for lack of a better word, with a person. No, I don't mean sympathy. I mean compassion, and I mean empathy. I do not mean sympathy. Sympathy is when you feel sorry for somebody. That's like someone gets run over by a car. You feel sad, sorry for that person. I did not mean sympathy, but thanks for putting words in my mouth. Thanks, sir, for putting words in my mouth and mansplaining me. Loved it. Anyway, so oh my God. Yeah, so that's kind of the difference. Now, I don't know if he knew that or not, but just because somebody chooses the word compassion over empathy, everybody wants, I'm empathic. Well, I don't want to be empathic if you're empathic, because everybody says they're fucking empathic. Everybody has to claim something that they're not. He's speaking the truth. He has compassion, which is how you treat someone with kindness due to their circumstances, which are not your own. Oh, you guys. Yeah. He said sympathy. And okay, agree with you. It should have been compassion. Okay, he said sympathy. I heard he said compassion, so I don't know if we're talking about the same thing. I take back the mansplaining part. Bitch, Sloan. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he did. He's ingenious with that. Exactly. Empath. Yeah, well, when an empath walks in the room, they respond to the inner feelings of another person's experience. That's not authentic to them. That's authentic to this person. So when I walk in the room and I feel something for you, I'm feeling you, which is not me. He did say, I heard him say compassion. I heard him say compassion on one. So I'm speaking to the one where he said compassion. Sympathy is condescending a little bit. So, you know, I mean, if you get hit by a car or bus, sympathy is good, but I don't know that I have sympathy for people who don't agree with me. I thought he said compassion. Thank you. That's what I heard, compassion. That's why I'm sticking with it. Yeah, empathy. Yeah, I enjoy being alone. Me too. Me and the cat. He said we prefer sympathy over compassion. Oh, thank you. Now that makes sense. Yes, we do. We prefer feeling that we're better than someone else in a better position than being kind to them at their level and meeting them. So compassionate person would see a homeless guy outside of a store, and instead of, oh, I feel so sorry for him, they would go in the store and get him a soda and a sandwich or whatever, piece of pizza, soda, sandwich, cigarettes, beer, whatever people do. And they would sit with him and talk to him like a person for a few minutes, give him food and leave. And they wouldn't feel sympathy towards him. They would try to encourage him to see himself differently. And that would be compassion. They would compassion by feeding him, but not sympathy to feel that they were above him. That's how I feel about the word sympathy. Now, if you get straight up hit by a bus, I fucking have sympathy for you. She ignores what shit? What shit do I ignore? I think cats are psychic. Excuse me. Yes. I think cats are psychic. Yeah. Compassion is action. Yeah. Telekinesis is 100% real. You're married too. Oh, they're spamming. Yeah. I ignore that shit. I ignore a lot of shit. Don't you in your life? Anyway, the BS trolls. Yeah. I'm sure animals are healers first. So animals are healers. All right, you all. I have to get back to my computer work. I went running, did a podcast, went to a class. I took a nap, went to a class. I'm trying to stick on a schedule of exercising every single day before Christmas, which I do anyway, but I like to bail on classes. Charlie, wait, I liked what Charlie had to say about empathy, and I'm an empath. Yeah, because you know that empathy is not compassion. Empathy is to mesh or mold into, tune into the frequency of another person's experience, whether that frequency be good or bad. And empaths in their truest form are there to transmute energy. Yep. All right, you guys. I loves you all. I've gotten so many kick rocks. Kick rocks, bitch. I've gotten so many lovely gifts. I wanted to thank Puma for her necklace. I wanted to thank Tim for his necklace. And I've got to go read the lovely people's name that sent me the artwork. And then there's a picture of a cat. And then there's another picture of Keith and I. And there's some beautiful artwork for the studio. I got your artwork. I've gotten everybody's letters. And I just love them. My brain is scrambled at the moment, but I just love them. Love them. Yeah, love them. Love them. I'm so excited. Thank you all so much, you guys. I don't even know what some people are spamming over here. What y'all spamming? What the spamming is going on? What the salmon spamming? Oh, when I say salmon, I think of fucking Tom Cruise. Please go look up Tom Cruise and fish. And don't forget our homework because I want reports on it. Our homework is black pill, transmaxing, looksmaxxing, and groiper, I think is how you pronounce it. That's your homework. If I have to go down a rabbit hole, you all have to go down the rabbit hole. My cat is so cute. I think she's outside. She boogied in. I fed her already, so we should be good. I did. I fed her. I fed her before because, you know. Yeah, no, I was happy to come here. Looksmaxxing is scary. Totally. You know, I got to say one other thing before I go. I listened to this little girl on, I have a lot of homework for you. Right back at you. I listened to this little girl and she was really cute, early 20s. And people were telling her, well, you've had a lot of surgery. They don't even know good looking. I did do the podcast with Sean Kelly today. Yeah, that was early this morning. I hope I looked okay. My makeup was atrocious. When I got there in the light, I'm like, oh, where's Kenna when you need her? Because Kenna's a makeup artist. But it was at the same time she's taking the kids to school. So that's the problem. Yeah, Cruz is a fish diddler. Please look that up. Please, you got to. It kept me in hysterics for days. And then I kind of been eating chicken ever since. Seriously. Okay, I do eat salmon, but I've not been eating as much salmon after that. Okay. All right, you guys. I love you all so much. Yeah. No, please go down that rabbit hole. I had no idea to today that these things existed, but they were saying that Caitlyn Jenner wasn't getting the same attention as those Jenner girls, for doing nothing. And he was an Olympic athlete. Don't forget the man was a triathlete. Like, he medaled in 3 different things. Like, he was a fucking Adonis. And great. And from my childhood and on the Wheaties box. I didn't eat Wheaties, but he was on the box of cereal. So I was familiar with him. Because I ate Wheaties at other people's houses. I wasn't allowed to at mine. Anyhow, that's to my friend Janie that had Oreos in the cupboard and Wheaties. Anyhow, they say that he, was transmaxing to get everything that he needed because he couldn't get attention as a man. And then he ended up on the cover of Life magazine or whatever as a woman. Nick Fuentes, that's the other one. Look that guy up. Enjoy the rabbit hole. But it was interesting because my friend Claudette, she literally told me from her hairdresser that did her hair. Okay, she's the one that did, oh my God, Mad Men. She got an Emmy for it and all of that. She was set design. Anyway, we used to hike together for years. Years and years and years, every day. Years and years, and I loved her. Anyway, she moved out of the state. But she said it was no common knowledge going back, like it has to be 30 years now, that he kind of had like breast implants before and wanted to be a woman. So it was known. So I don't know that that's quite the case with him. I don't know. Okay, bye, you guys. I know. Yeah, Bridget Macron. Bridget Macron. Thank you for that. The thing that you have to worry about with Brigitte Macron is that she was a pedophile. Her husband was her student when he was 14. That's grooming. I don't care what anyone says. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Okay, I'm out. Can I book a 2-week? Be a friend. January 24. Okay, I'll announce on here when I'm opening my books. I will post it on a post thing, down there. Okay, bye, you guys. Have a good day. Thank you all. I got to turn this off. All right.